Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started with the regular meeting of the Valley View Board of Education. This meeting is a meeting of the Public Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in Agenda Item 4. Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyd?
Here.
Mr. DeGroat?
Here.
Mrs. Iser?
Here.
Mrs. Valenti?
Here, please stand for the pledge.
Mr. Cradle? I'm sorry. Mrs. Billy?
Here. Also. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda item 3, the resignation. Can I have a motion to recommend the board accept the resignation of Mark Klein as a member of the Valley View School Board effective March 5th, 2021?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Any comments?
Wish Mr. Klein the best. Obviously, in his letter, he said he's got some family situations going on right now, so we wish his family members the best of health.
I'd like to also thank Mr. Klein. I've had the pleasure of serving with him for over 7 years, and I wish him all the best. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Iser?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. DeGroat?
Yes.
Mrs. Valenti?
Yes. Agenda item 4, recognition of visitors and communications. Letter A, public participation. With public participation, we ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please speak to the board as a whole. And when you come forward, you need to state your name and your address and if you have a group affiliation. So we're going to get started with our first speaker is Riley Watson.
My name is Riley Hodson, and I'm a sophomore at Valley View High School. I'm here tonight to speak for myself and not for my family or classmates. I've had the privilege of being taught by countless talented educators here at Valley View. I've been coached by talented and dedicated staff members. What I've not had is interactions with the majority of you, so I'd like the opportunity to speak with you tonight. Bob Skidmore is like a father to many of us here. He is a bright and kind and calm and supportive man. Tom Lisinko is a man who has tirelessly dedicated his life to improving the lives of the children of our district. Both men are exceptional examples of the best that Valley View has to offer. Many people in our community have questioned the majority of you as you continue to make staffing decisions that are not believed to be rooted in decency or fact, but that's not why I'm here tonight. Why I'm here is to tell you my thoughts on moving forward. We will continue to succeed in spite of your decisions of the majority of you. This football team will continue to beat Franklin in spite of your decisions. We will graduate, go to college, or get good jobs and become successful parents in spite of what you're trying to do to us. But I also tell you what you have taught me, and I imagine many of my peers, to fight for what we believe in, to speak up, even if it makes our hands sweat and our voices shake. I'm a bright, well-educated, independent student who has been taught to be that way, not only by my family, but by educators like Bob Skidmore and Tom Lisinko. So, as we continue to succeed as students in spite of your decisions, please respect our successes, but do not take credit for them, for these belong solely with those who truly believe in us. Thank you.
Joni Sears.
Once again, here I stand, front and center before you, not behind a computer screen on social media or Facebook. Why? Not because I want to, because my character forces me to. The character I feel my children, grandchildren, students of the Valley View District, peers, and co-workers need to see. Now let me reread what was read in front of the board in 2018. And I actually gave a copy to Mr. Richards when he was hired. To be honest with you, the last thing I want to do is speak before the Board of Education or any audience. Rather than think it and watch things unfold in front of me in which I do not agree, I feel it is my responsibility to verbalize it. As we close the door on 2017, and open the door to 2018, we now have the opportunity to either follow the path we are on, pitting me against you, us against them, family against family, friends against friends, neighbors against neighbors, which has led to a divided community and a divided district. We have lost sight of what we really are. You must open your eyes to see and open your ears to hear. Slow down to listen. We expect students to sit in a classroom and listen. Shouldn't we expect the same of ourselves? We can choose a different path, one of accountability, set expectations to do the right thing, embrace honesty, and show integrity. When I thought of the slogan, Value the View, many years ago, it was to value what we already had and to strive to keep it. We no longer value what we had. Excellent schools, a compassion for our neighbors, friendship that never wavered, and families that stood together with pride to support Valley View. In order to restore the value, we need to value everyone that cares enough to ask the question. Do not discourage someone from asking that question, but listen and answer the question. The question might just force everyone to think everyone brings something to the table that might just benefit all of us. It is time to get strong, unbiased leadership to lead our district in the right direction. I'm not talking about the walls of a building, but what is most important, what is inside those walls. Administration, parents, staff, and students. As Lou Holt stated, there are over 400,000 words in the English language, but the most important being choice. Where we stand today is because of the choices that were made. Let's please not continue down the path of poor choices. That was in 2018. Now let's reflect on where we are today. Are we in a better place? Have we made any strides in the right direction? Do we value the people who live and work in this community? If you are really paying attention, the answer is a resounding no. The biggest difference is that people within this district are more united. They once again stand together for a common goal, to get our district back on solid ground and defend the people that live and work in this district. When one of us has been wronged, we have all been wronged. Tom Masinko, Bob Skidmore, Butch Stedham, Andy Keating, Jared Henry, Matt King, William Longman, Joel Phillips, Brock Boland, Tyson Skidmore, Chad Cradable, and the entire Valley View football team, past and present, and none other than Mr. Lemke. The saddest thing about all this mess is that it was not necessary, and we have no idea how long this list will get. You can build new walls, but you cannot rebuild what this district was built on, the people. We are small town America. We are proud of it. You cannot force a square peg in a round hole. Don't try to change what we are, embrace it. And if we are not what you truly want, then maybe we are not what you should represent. You're leading us down the wrong path. It is not the path we want to follow. And in closing, I have rethought my statement from last month. My words don't matter. They really do matter. They matter to me and all those that truly do care about each other, and to those that love this district and what it stands for. It is very apparent that they do not matter to the board or the superintendent. That's okay, because I am the one who has to live with me and my character. Once again, thank you for the opportunity to speak, and once again, I hope you heed my message.
Andy Berry.
Andy Berry, 57 Mary Place, Germantown. I speak on behalf of myself. I've been a teacher at Valley View High School for the past 24 years and currently serve as the Dean of Students. I am proud to be a member of the Valley View community. During my time here, I've had the pleasure of working alongside hundreds, if not thousands, of incredible people in this district, from faculty, staff, and administration to students, parents, and community members. I've taught some of your children, and I have even taught a couple of you. Out of all the Spartans I've had the good fortune of associating with, Brian Lemke is at the top of the list of those who have had the most impact on the Valley View community and on me personally in all those years. Mr. Lemke is an outstanding human being. He is dedicated to Valley View local schools and makes a positive impact on our community, our school district, our staff, and our students on a daily basis, as he has done for the last 21 years. Brian embodies the characteristics we want our students and staff to possess and models the behaviors we want them to exhibit. We should all strive to be the type of Spartan that Brian Lemke is. Brian inspires me to be a better person. He motivates me, brings out the best in me, and challenges me to improve, just by being himself. Brian exemplifies class, loyalty, and professionalism. As we plan to build new schools and start a new chapter at Valley View, I urge you to include Brian Lemke in your vision for the leadership team for our district. If Brian is not a part of our leadership team going forward, I truly believe our community, our district, our staff, and most importantly, our kids will all be missing out. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Sarah Riley.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Riley. I live at 1236 Red Bud Circle, and I am here speaking for myself as a taxpayer. I would like to start with the fact that I am not originally from this community. I did not grow up here. I did not attend school here. I have not played with or for any of the targeted coaches and employees of the school district. None of my immediate family is involved with football. I have no dog in this fight. I chose to live here. I was attracted to this community for its values, most importantly its academics and its activities to include athletics. I want to be very clear. I have campaigned, advocated, and voted in favor of each and every school levy to include the recent one, which only passed by a 530 vote margin. When I first heard the two coaches had been targeted for non-renewal and given no explanation or supporting documentation as to why by school board members, I said to myself, you know what, that can't be true. I'm hearing this wrong. I voted for those members. After all, Butch and Andy have coached for years, and Butch was just named 2020 Miami Valley Assistant Coach of the Year. Then came the rumors about parent surveys, which is just absolutely ludicrous to me. These surveys have no legal standing. There's no accountability. In fact, when I read the soccer surveys, mine wasn't even among them. These surveys are not mentioned in their supplemental contract, so they absolutely could not be a condition of their non-renewal. Once again, I can't believe this. This can't be true. Next, the resignation of Bob Skidmore. And when I say resignation, I use this term loosely, as he was forced to resign. You see, Bob is a man of integrity. He had no other choice. It was a matter of principle. He was also named 2020 head coach of the Miami Valley, coaching for over 30 years. He is an excellent teacher and he has impeccable character. Up next, the resignation of Mr. Lemke. Once again, I use that term loosely, as he was forced out of the AD position. He is an excellent teacher and will be welcomed. He will be a welcome addition back in the classroom. As Bryce Henson pointed out, up to this point we have heard few facts and much speculation. Without these facts, we cannot make a decision onto the fairness of your decision. We can only rely on what we have heard and what we have known to be facts. A friend recently, whom I very much respect, recently reminded me of this quote by Robert Kennedy. When we tolerate what we know to be wrong, when we close our eyes and ears to the corrupt because we are too busy or too frightened, when we fail to speak up and speak out, we strike a blow against freedom and decency and justice. But today, I stand before you as a concerned taxpayer to speak up and speak out. This transcends football. I stand here for every athlete who should have a fair opportunity to prove themselves on the field, not one paid for them by their parents. I stand here for my children to teach them to tolerate what they know to be, not to tolerate what they know to be wrong. I stand here for every female athlete and student. Mr. Richards, I have not seen you at one girls' soccer, volleyball, or basketball game. This year, outstanding female athletes went without district or SWBL honors because the coach wasn't informed on the voting. We received no apology, nothing. This is unacceptable. We clearly see what your priority is. I stand here for the taxpayer, every person who works hard and puts their trust in you as public figures to work for them and their tax dollars. I am once again asking you to do the right thing. Listen to the people who put you in this position. Restart talks with the 974 members of this community who signed the petition on change.org. These people are your neighbors. They're your friends. They're your children's classmates, both on and off the field. Set up a working group to discuss a path forward, not only for football, but for every extracurricular activity. Work with us, not against us. If you must vote tonight, do the right thing and vote no to hiring a new coach at this time. A vote yes does not represent the wishes of this community. It's clearly self-serving. Thank you.
Jason Green.
Hi, this is Jason Reed. I live at 10186 Germantown, Middletown Pike. Any of you guys that are staring at your laptops right now are welcome to come see me anytime. I started off kind of calming the people who were really loud last time. When we came to the February board meeting, we had a lot of people who were very mad. I said, no, let's get everything together, let's get our facts in order, let's present to them. Surely they'll listen to us. So we crowded the gym with over 150 people, football players, all these guys did surveys. We came to you, we presented it to you. So that got no response. So as a citizen who's concerned, who's trying to stand up like what Sarah just alluded to, I went and started a petition because what you're doing is not what the community wants. One more time. 973 signatures on this petition that I started like a week ago, maybe not even a week ago. I can get plenty more. This petition is what the community wants. But because there's been so much lying, hiding, keeping us in a room where there can only be 30 people on the purpose of just being callous to the community, I want to present the timeline so everyone knows a little bit about what's happened, because I've gone from being your advocate and trying to convey what the community wants to you to saying, okay, well, I think the community needs to know what's actually happened now. So the timeline goes like this. 2 years ago, Ben Richards asked a community member about the character of Butch Stidham. Was everyone on the board aware that Ben Richards has been asking about this person's character for over 2 years? September and October of 2020, any Friday night, you come into the stands and you can hear Ben DeGroat as a parent screaming about assistant coaches, yelling about playing time. Plenty of people heard it. I can get all of the people that you won't let into the room to come in and tell you about it. Okay? So clearly there's an agenda for one of the parents. November 9th, this board votes to approve coaches. Because of COVID, all of the winter coaches were not approved until we knew that we would have a season. That made sense. I understand. And I'm actually very glad it happened. Because on November 9th, all of the winter coaches were approved except for Butch Stidham, who also, in addition to coaching football, coaches basketball. He's the head boys basketball coach. On that night, the only person that wasn't rubber stamped to coach was Butch, and the vote went to, or the board actually voted, in the board minutes you'll see, that Butch Stidham was voted on. It was 4-1, and Spencer Iser being the one to not renew Butch Stidham. That is a little bit interesting to me because on November 10th, that's the day Brian Lemke sent out the parent surveys. So all of the bad parent surveys that supposedly got everybody fired didn't come out till the day after Spencer was already voting no for Butch Stidham in basketball, which had already started. See, all the non-football players were already in practice in basketball. Is that a very good move by our board to strip away our head coach after the season's already started? So I'm confused by that. By November 19th, all the parent surveys were then returned. 3 of our board members have children on the football team. So three of our board members have the opportunity to submit feedback and surveys on these parent surveys. I think that's a little bit of a conflict of interest, personally, if you're going to use them to fire someone. January 22nd, Ben Richards sends an email to the board blaming Brian Lemke, saying this is Brian Lemke's decision to make these moves, and I back it. The only reason that we got that email, because it was a public record request, is because he clearly was sending out an email that said that he was just backing up Brian Lemke, putting all the blame on his fall guy, Brian Lemke. The ironic thing is in the public record request, that's the only email we got. One email. January 28th, Skid resigns because he knows this is all wrong. February 8th, the board meeting, community voices opinion. Clearly, you must have heard the opinions, right, Elliot? Or is that an important email? Okay. Ben River, so then after that, board meeting, February 11th, Ben Richards.
Time's up. You've spoken for.
Ben Richards stubs his nose in the community. Ben Richards stubs his nose in the community.
He can have
Posted
3
in spite of
minutes.
feedback. February 16th, Ben Richards, Bob Skidmore, Elliot Boyd, Mark Lang have a plan. They approve the plan. On Tuesday, Bob is rehired. By Friday, Bob is no longer hired. He gets no meeting and has just simply said, we're signing up to hire a new coach. Okay? Then, Ben Richards creates a secret committee who he thinks, I guess people will never find out about who's on the committee. And the committee recommends to hire the coaches back. That's not what's on the ballot tonight, folks. February 25th, Brian Lemke resigns because he's under too much pressure. By the way, Brian Lemke was at every girls' basketball game and every other game that I can think of. Ben DeGrove, Miss Iser have an agenda. 974 other people disagree. Thank you.
Drew Smith.
Are you staring at me?
Let's go.
Follow that. Drew Smith, as many of you know, I'm a local business owner, a lifetime Spartan. I'd like to thank the board and superintendent for allowing me to speak. I appreciate that. This has been a tough go for everybody. I mean, everybody's upset and got feelings, and I understand. So, as some of you may know, I was contacted to be part of the committee who recently selected a new head coach. Being part of a board or committee, I take that very seriously. One needs to take their personal feelings out of it and do what's best for the group they're representing. This may sound easy, but I can assure you it was not. We all had our reservations till the last minute, pretty much. It seemed as if the new hire was going to be inevitable, so after much consideration, I thought it would be better to hear the candidates and give the best recommendation I could with our kids' future at the forefront. We all had to take our personal feelings out of this decision and look at the candidates objectively. The group's first recommendation was to bring our coaches back. Secondly, we actually threw out Coach Nysonger's name a little bit and to bring him back in some way, shape, or form, who, by the way, said he would coach for $1, but now it's $2. Being coach, he'd laugh. And yes, his health is very much improved, for those wondering. Everybody should check on him from time to time. So we did ask very tough questions, and I feel confident in the recommendations we made. I believe under different circumstances, everybody in this community would be ecstatic, excited, and agree with our choice of Coach Moyer. He actually was the first choice a few years back out of over 30 to 40 candidates. But he did have to turn down the job, which we did ask why, and it was due to family reasons, and they were good reasons that I won't get into right now. His plan from top to bottom was second to none. His offensive and defensive scheme, strength and conditioning programs, and overall program all the way down to the third grade level was impeccable. He had us all ready to lace up the Nikes and get out over on Nisonger Field and play a game. So I'm trying to bridge the gap here. There's been a lot of bad things happen, but if that's the route we are going now, that is a positive. If it's not possible to get our coaches back, I still think we're in good shape. My love for this community and our kids and our sports programs will always be unwavering. I am also protective of our community and our programs, and probably a little bit too much. I feel people need to eat to earn it here. We just don't give out the Spartan card to anyone. People alluded to Brian Lemke. That guy's a true Spartan, and he's not from here, but he's an amazing person. I've got a good feeling about Coach Moyer. If that's the route we are taking, I hope that I am right. This is a very difficult time for everyone. We are all passionate and we care a ton here. And that's what I believe sets us apart from other communities. In the end, it seems that it was already done. Everyone wants is transparency and unbiased decisions from the board and all of our administration. Will we get this moving forward? The committee did ask if the coaching search was listed on all the correct platforms due to only having 7 candidates. It was also asked if a large enough net was casted in the coaching pool. Circling back to Coach Moyer, the fact he was chosen 5 years ago by another committee in administration, I'm not sure a larger coaching search would have mattered. If we cannot have our coaches who are non-renewed, then we did have to choose from the 3 coaches who were there, and I'm sticking up for the guys on that committee because they've gotten some pushback, but we had everyone's best interests at hand. We did ask if Coach Skidmore had applied and was told he rescinded his resignation. I'm just simply being transparent with everyone with facts. I, along with many others, have exhausted ourselves over this entire situation. I believe if protocols and write-ups were in place, we probably wouldn't be here. The coaches could have fixed the small problems that were at hand, and we could have moved on. Like my friend Aaron has said to me, let's not drive wedges between one another. How can we move forward in a positive manner? Our kids are listening and paying attention to everything that's going on. Our actions and our words are magnified right now. Are we proud of what they are seeing? In life, we don't always get our way. Things do not always go as we believe they should. I would like to think this community will continue to thrive and get past this unfortunate situation. I may not have all the right answers right now, but I do know one thing. I am a Spartan, and I still believe that our community is a special place. I think a divided community is a weak one, and we are not weak Spartans. We are not weak. We are Spartans.
Tim Rudd.
Good evening, thank you for your time. I am not a lifelong Spartan. I've been in this community for 12 years. I don't have sons, so I don't have an axe to grind on the football team. There is nothing with regard to the football program that would motivate me to come here tonight. But this isn't about football. It's about the fact that nobody likes a rigged game. Nobody likes non-transparency. Nobody likes when a small group of people act directly contrary to the manifest will of the people they're supposed to represent. So what we have in the school board, you are a representative body. And as a representative body, it's not like you're supposed to always go and take a poll before you make every decision. One of your jobs is to look into the more nuanced matters, the more nuanced issues, and make a decision that the rest of us don't have the time to look into. Except this isn't one of those issues. This is a straightforward, clear-cut question of whether this community, overwhelmingly, I haven't seen this community in the 12 years I've lived here, I haven't seen this community as united about anything. The levy, we were divided. We won, I'm glad. But you have people on both sides of that camp who all look at this and say, this isn't right. And when something's not right, you've got to say something about it. This is not a referendum on Coach Moyer. Because Coach Moyer is not the conversation we ought to be having. I'm sure Coach Moyer is a great man. I'm sure he's a good coach. I've heard nothing but good things about him. Maybe a different day, maybe a different time, maybe under different circumstances, he would be welcomed here with open arms. If you decide to hire him, I'm sure the people here will embrace him because that's the kind of people they are. They're not petty. They're not looking for a fight. But at the end of the day, as a representative body, you have to listen to what they say. You have to care about what they believe. This isn't about Mr. Moyer. This is about whether you make the decision tonight to, for all intents and purposes, cut off your last chances to make this right. We've got great administrators. Everything that Mr. Berry said about Mr. Lemke, he spoke for me. Mr. Lemke, the fact that he's even caught up in this mess is just shameful to me. He deserves so much better than what he's encountered. These coaches, Mr. Skidmore, never heard a bad thing about him. One of the things that I've enjoyed as a father of daughters, my oldest is a freshman in college now, my youngest was a varsity cheerleader last year for football. And I get to sit, and I got to do it even during COVID because my girl's on the sideline. I get to sit and I get to watch these coaches in action. And I get to see them doing what they do. And what they're doing is they're molding young men. They are training them. I watched as young men with tears streaming down their face at the end of the Wyoming game had men like Mr. Stidham and Mr. Keating with an arm around them being just as much of a teacher to them as if they had been in the very classrooms that these kids go to. Those are the type of men that this community looks to and says, you know what we're going to do on a Monday night? We're going to come out and speak for them. Because they've been railroaded here and it's not right. What you guys have a chance to do, and this is your chance. You're going to make a decision tonight. Do we hire Coach Moyer or do we not? As soon as you say we do, you have told this entire body of people that we don't give a rip what you think. Ultimately, it is in your hands. Nobody wants to see more division. But when it's all said and done, a representative board that can't hear this voice and represent it, because that's what you're here to do, ought not be representing. There are people in this community, good people with a willingness to do something, who will step up and step in, and they will take your place, and they will do things right. No more meetings with people outside in the hallway when I know that you were inundated with emails like the one I sent requesting that we have it in a larger venue. No more using parliamentary technicalities and saying time's up when a man's making a very impassioned speech. You have people here who care, and you have an opportunity to do the right thing. I hope you do. I hope you do. I don't have confidence that you will. I hope that you prove me wrong. Thank you.
Heather Havermill.
Good evening, Heather Havermill, 7750 Browns Run Road, Germantown. I speak on behalf of myself and the community that's in the hall and watching on Zoom where they cannot hear, and after the last board meeting, you guys were told that they cannot hear, yet you still have them on Zoom. So, to piggyback on Tim, I'm passionate. I'm passionate about my hometown. I voted in people who are making decisions I didn't think represented my opinion. I would have never voted in people that make the decisions that are being made. To keep the people in the hall. To not answer emails. And I'm looking at all of you. That's what I was told to do, address all of you. The people know who answered me, and the people know who don't. And when I have to email someone else and copy them on the email so they answer me, that's not okay. You are hired to do a job by the taxpayers' money, and so help me God. My name's on that petition because I am passionate, I work hard for my money, and I don't want to see it abused by people not doing their job. I don't care if you get 487 emails a minute, you find time to answer them. Now, this all started about football. It has grown to much more than football. I think you all can understand that. So, I am speaking for all of the employees that are afraid to speak because they're afraid that they will get Teacher of the Year. They're afraid that they will get some kind of very good accolades and awards, yet be stripped of what they're doing for our community. I'm gonna let it sink in for a minute. So, I have to check my notes, sorry. I'm not a professional public speaker. Last week, I reviewed the performance evaluations of not only the football coaches, because I wanted to see how it was across the board. So I reviewed football, women's basketball, and men's basketball, because I believe the head coaches of both teams, or all three teams, are passionate, and I wanted to see if there was any concern with sideline behavior, you know, across the board. Well, much to my surprise, it was in the needs improvement category. So I have worked for the school, only as an aide, not as a employee that has signed a any kind of agreement. I just have come in and subbed. But I'm hesitant at how business is held. Because if it says needs improvement in the world where I work, then there's notes and documentation at the bottom as to what needs to happen. And I won't hold Mr. Lemke accountable for that, being as he's so new at this. Just like I've tried to defend other people who are new at their positions, that maybe he's just learning the ropes, but I'm telling you, in any job I've been at, there's comments at the bottom and ways to improve it. There wasn't. And then at the beginning of, say, a football season, if there was a needs improvement, you address that person again. Well, there was no notes. There was nothing stapled to. There was nothing. So, my recommendation to you guys would be that you maybe carry on like a business, because all the people back here and out there and on Zoom that can't hear me, they would appreciate the follow-up, because then these situations wouldn't happen. Because they would have looked and said, oh, well, hey, yeah, this is what happened. But it's not there. So the transparency that's been preached about, it's not happening either. It's disgusting. And I will end on this. Flip-flopping on your decisions, it's not okay. When you make a decision, you stand by it. That hasn't happened either. But it's not just this that has been flip-flopped on. There's been many things that have been flip-flopped on. And again, for me, this was the straw that broke the camel's back. And me and my community of Spartans, we don't like it. And there's what, 900 and how many of us?
973.
At last count, when he printed it, there's probably more now, but 973 of us that don't like it. Please listen to us, because us versus them, it's not fun. I don't think that's the culture you were looking for. Anyone else?
Can I make a motion to go into executive or to amend the agenda? Alright, so I'm going to make a motion to go into executive session. Can I have a second?
This goes down in the timeline.
Add it too.
Vote them out.
Vote them out. Vote them out.
You go to bed, get your vote out.
All right, guess we'll move on to agenda item number 5, approval of minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the special board meeting minutes of February 3rd, 2021, and the regular board meeting minutes of February 8th, 2021, attachment 1 in our packet?
So moved. Second.
I did notice 2 things. It's not Troy Walter, it's Troy Coulter with a C, and it's not Jose Bromagin, it's Chase Bromagin. So I want to keep those changes. Any other questions or comments on the minutes? Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. DeBroe?
Yes.
Mrs. Eisen?
Yes.
Mrs. Valenti?
Yes. Agenda item 6, financial reports and requests, letter A. Recommend the board approve the financial statements for the month ending February 28, 2021, attachment 2 in your packet. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Second.
Sauber.
Through the month of February, we're running about $265,000 ahead in terms of revenue. If you remember correctly, the state funding, they reinstated some of that reduction that we had from last year, so that's been reflected. Currently, budget-wise, we're about $1.4 million under budget. A lot of that is due to a lot of the federal money that we've received due to the CARES Act.
Are there any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Iser?
Yes.
Mr. DeGroat?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mrs. Valenti?
Yes. Letter B, recommend the board approve the resolution accepting the tax year 2021 amount of agreement as determined by the Budget Commission. Board copies were closed. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved. Second.
Ms. Eisen, or sorry, Ms. Sauber.
Yes, this is a routine item that we do every year in the spring. This is a requirement of the county auditor for us to satisfy audit requirements, just establishing the tax rates with the county.
Any questions, Ms. Sauber? Roll call, please.
Mr. DeGroat?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mrs. Iser?
Yes.
Mrs. Valenti?
Yes. Agenda item 7, new business, letter A. Recommend the board approve the resolution authorizing the school district to employ a qualified licensed individual not employed by the school district to direct supervise workplace with pupil activity program, so long as that individual holds a valid pupil activity permit. Board copies are closed. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Mr. Richards?
This is a resolution that legal counsel recommends that we do in all these situations. It's not been a past practice, but it's something that, once again, legal counsel recommends.
So we just got this afternoon. It was
Correct.
added to our packet, so I have a few questions.
Yes.
Let me pull up the document. Did you all get a chance to read it? Because we just got it at 1 o'clock today. Did everybody else get a chance? Under where it says number 1, it says the board hereby determines that it has offered the position of head high school football coach to those employees of the district who are licensed individuals under revised code, and no such employee qualified to fill the position has accepted it. Can you explain that to me?
Yes, we have to work with paralegal, we have to work with people that do interview, and people who are certificated and employed by the district already kind of jump to the top of the list kind of thing if they meet other criteria, but if they don't meet those established criteria, then we can move on to see other people.
So the criteria, the qualifications was that they were not chosen by the committee? Is that the qualification?
I don't believe that would be appropriate to say at this time.
Okay.
Terrible, terrible. Coward.
Because the way it was worded, it says that no such employee qualified to fill the position has accepted it. But really, it's we didn't offer it to them. It's not that
Correct.
they didn't accept it, correct?
They have to be able to meet the qualifications that we've set forth.
So they'll be an assistant when they can be a head coach.
What?
Matt King wanted it.
And it would not be appropriate to discuss other personnel matters.
Roll call, please.
Coward.
Yes. Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. DeGrove?
Yes.
Mrs. Valenti?
No. Letter B, personnel, approve the personnel action as recommended and attached with the our packet. Can I have a motion to approve it, but I'm going to ask to amend out the extra duty contract category 2, head football, 10 lawyers, step 7 through 10, 9 years experience at $6,444.19. So can I have a motion to approve all the action except for that one that just amended out?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. DeGrove?
Yes.
Mrs. Iser?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mrs. Valenti?
Yes. Number 2, be amended. Can I have a motion to approve the extra duty contract category 2 of head football and lawyer?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Iser?
Yes.
Mr. DeGrove?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mrs. Valenti?
No. Letter C, recommend the board approve a resolution authorizing participation in the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission Classroom Facilities Assistance Program. Last 4 copies were enclosed. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved. Second.
I don't know who wants this one. Ms. Sauber, is this you or Mr. Richards?
No, I'll take this one. This is in order for us to move forward with the facilities project, we have to go to the OFCC for commission approval in April, and then go to controlling board in May. So this is just a step that we have to take to say that we are still planning to move forward with the facilities project to approve what's called a NOCA package, or Notice of Conditional Approval.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. DeGrove?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mrs. Iser?
Yes.
Mrs. Valenti?
Yes, letter D, recommend the board approve the early graduation of the following students who have met the graduation requirements: Bryce Abner, Sarah Green, Macy Mullins, Elizabeth Palmer, Reagan Schrader, and Ian Zarn.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Richards?
Congratulations to all these students for completing their coursework. I can also say, and I won't repeat which one, but one of these students is graduating early to go enlist into the military, and so our undivided thanks and appreciation for what the student's going to do for our country.
Roll call.
Mr. DeGrove?
Yes.
Mrs. Iser?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mrs. Valenti?
Yes, letter E, recommend the board approve the treasurer as the public records designee for the Board of Education. I have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Sauber? I thought you wanted to explain it.
This is a requirement that normally is set forth in the organizational meetings, so this is an audit to make sure that we do this annually. So from now on, you'll see this on the organizational meeting agenda.
Every year? Okay. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Iser?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. DeGrove?
Yes.
Mrs. Valenti?
Yes, letter F, recommend the board approve the calendar for the 2021-2022 school year. 4 copies were enclosed. I have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Richards?
This calendar mirrors the one that we employed this year, starting after Labor Day, giving some time for staff to work ahead of the time of the school year. We are including something that will be a little bit different. Election Day will no longer be a day off. We're just going to make that a remote learning day. And the Monday and Tuesday of Thanksgiving will be remote learning days. I think that that's going to be a positive way to move forward with our kids. We don't want to while I think it's safe to say we don't want to always have remote learning days, and I think there's some people that are done with them, and I completely understand that, but it's something that we can keep a hold of, and those are skills that we can still utilize, and I think that are positive moving forward.
Any questions or comments? I have a couple questions. The 2 weeks at the beginning, is that going to be standard practice now? I know we did that this year because of COVID and the teachers needed professional development on computers, but did the staff enjoy having all of those front-loaded, and how many days did that take away from instruction?
Well, so the staff, I do think the staff appreciated having some time to actually work on different initiatives so that we weren't, typically the way it works in schools is we only have 1 or 2 days with them, and so it all gets crammed in. So we do want to be able to have more time to work with our staff so that we can keep making improvements for professional development. Additionally, one of the other things that'll happen will be, one of the things that the elementary teachers seemed to really appreciate was the notion of having half the kids one day, half the kids another day. That was something that we did for some strategic purposes because of COVID. But listening to teachers, I think that's something that was very positive and very well received, to be able to help teach those routines and have fewer students in the room as we're doing that.
And how many days of instruction does that take away?
Takes about 5.
Any other questions or comments?
I didn't get a parent survey about preschool days.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mrs. Iser? Yes. Mr. DeGroat?
Yes.
Mrs. Valenti?
Yes. Agenda item for letter G, recommend the board approve the Valley View baseball team trip to Barrowtown, Barrow Beach, Florida over spring break. Have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Have fun.
Mr. Boyd? Mr. DeGroat?
Yes.
Mrs. Iser? Yes. Mrs. Valenti?
Yes. Letter H, recommend the board approve the Valley View boys tennis team trip to Hilton Head, South Carolina over spring break.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Mr. DeGroat?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mrs. Iser? Yes. Mrs. Valenti?
Yes. Superintendent comments.
I think the only thing that we have, and I know there's been a lot of difficulty and strife, I do very much believe, and Mrs. Habermadel said it very well, when she talked about passion. There are a lot of passionate people, and passion is never a bad thing. Some communities that you can go through, there are people who are not as passionate. So I think passion is always welcome. So I'd like to thank them. Everybody that's even here and speaking, I'd like to thank them for their time as well.
Ms. Iser.
Yeah, I just echo what Mr. Richard said. I very much, I'm born and raised in this community. I know exactly what it means to be a Spartan, and I just appreciate everybody's passion and willingness to step forward and speak about what you believe in. So thank you for coming tonight.
We cannot hear back here. Can you speak into the microphone, please?
Mr. DeGroat.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming and giving their opinion. We're up here to represent the whole community.
Understandable, but we cannot hear anything back here.
Thank you all for coming. I appreciate everything that was said tonight. Thank you.
We're not leaving, so we need to be able to hear the meeting.
Mr. Boyd.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. I appreciate your opinions. I appreciate your representation of the community. I've been here all my life, and I'm very proud to be a Spartan. I know everyone here as well. Thank you for coming out.
Mr. Dillon.
I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming out. We appreciate hearing your thoughts and opinions.
Mr. Greenwald.
I first have some student updates about how things are going right now. So First of all, the girls basketball team brought home their third consecutive district championship, making them the first Valley View girls basketball team in history to do so. So that's a huge accomplishment. I also want to give a shout out to Mr. Evans and the academic team for placing third in the SWBL. Another big accomplishment. Sophomore wrestler Evan Wilcox will be an alternate at the state competition for the wrestling tournament this weekend. I want to extend my congratulations to Abigail Withrow for placing first in the portrait category of the Miamisburg Art Gallery Student Exhibition. Today, on March 15th, from 5:30 to 8, there will be a Valley View night where all the Valley View artwork will be displayed. And something else that I want to just kind of update the board about is that with us being back in school full time, one of the nice things that we've seen is that clubs are back underway like they used to be, so it's another great sense of normalcy. I know FCCLA is going to be laying down mulch in the Veterans Park sometime this month, so just things like that we're really happy about. That, again, the return to normalcy that we have. And then finally, I have a couple questions, and this is open to anybody that has any answers. First of all, why was this meeting not moved to a bigger venue? Because we have an auditorium down the hallway that could have accommodated all these people, and we didn't move there. Why not?
It was put to a board poll, and 3 board members had to agree to move it, and it wasn't moved.
Also, this is kind of an open-ended question, but let's say the board makes a decision that the community doesn't agree with. What does it take from the community for the board to change the direction of their decision making? What must they do to change their minds? Because public participation obviously isn't enough. Almost not 1,000 signatures on a petition isn't enough. When they show up to make their voices heard, thank you, we don't accommodate them, we shut them out of our meetings. So what will it take for you to listen to them?
A direct survey from the players.
Oh, yes, there was also a survey.
It depends on the agenda, Maddox.
Yep. Well, what really frustrates me about this entire process is that the actions of this board and this administration do not align with the values that are taught in our classrooms. I've been going here my whole life. I have been going here my entire life, and since kindergarten, every single one of my teachers have taught me to tell the truth, to show respect, to own up to my mistakes, and to treat people with kindness. And the actions of this board and this administration do not reflect those values. And it's something that I think, hopefully, these board members don't realize this because it would be a shame if they did and they didn't care. But when our board does not follow these values, when they don't show that they care about what the community has to think, and when they make these decisions based off maybe their own personal feelings and not what the people that they were elected to represent want them to do, it overshadows all of the successes that I just listed off from our students. It overshadows all the good things that we have going for us because we really do have a lot going for us. But when we don't follow protocol how we should, and when we have to have the whole community in our cafeteria tonight to try to get you to listen to them, then those successes go by the wayside. And all of these people that I just listed off are not the talk of the town like they should be. We shouldn't have to focus on the board making decisions and not telling the truth, not being transparent. We should be focusing on, say, the girls basketball team bringing home their third consecutive district championship. bothers me also, and this should not have an effect on how we treat anybody at our board meetings, but a lot of these people.
Hey, Matt, I would command respect from the board members and have them stop and put their pencils down and actually listen to you.
Right. Yeah, don't talk. And then ask to shut their computer screen.
That just shows you how much they respect you in this community.
Shoot, what was I going to say?
Sorry.
Finally. Oh, what bothers me is that so many of these people in this room tonight fought tooth and nail to pass the levy that this board and this administration put on the ballot. Right. I applied for NHS this year, and I think I've had like over 60 hours from my contributions to painting windows, to speaking at meetings, to canvassing, to giving all that I had for a better future for this community. I emailed the board twice because of this issue, and I did not get a single response back on email.
Oh my God. That's right. And you're on the board.
Yeah. So I just want to really make the board aware of how frustrated that I am with this process and how concerned I am with the direction that we're going, because if this, by allowing this process to happen the way that it did, it sets a precedent that it's okay, and this is not okay. We can accept Coach Moyer as our coach. This is like Mr. Rudd said, this is nothing against him, but we cannot accept this behavior from our board. It's unacceptable. And but I just want, and it also really concerns me being a student representative on this board, watching the community voice their opinions and that not having an effect on the outcome of the decisions of this board. And it makes me concerned that if there was a student issue that needed to be brought up and it didn't fit the narrative of these people that are on our board and in our administration, then our concerns would not be heard. Because if we have something, there's not 973 students in the high school. And if 973 people made their voices heard and said that they wanted things to change, and that wasn't enough, then that's very terrifying, that if we have a concern, we will never be able to even get to that number of people making their voices heard in that way. So I just wanted to really explain where I'm coming from and why this is very concerning to me, and how really kind of worried I am for the direction that we're going. We just passed the levy. We were unified. There was peace that came over our community for the first time in a long time, and this unnecessary decision made by our administration and our board really just shook it up once again, and it wasn't needed. And it really has me second guessing in a way what direction we're going in. So that's all I have to say for that.
I contemplated my closing remarks and came up with multiple different things to say, but I'm just going to end it with what Maddox said and end with Coach Skidmore's record over the last 5 years. In 2016, he was named Coach of the Year for Southwest Ohio District. He was named Dayton Daily News Coach of the Year. They went 10-2 that year, and they went to the playoffs. 2017, they went 11-1. They were SWBL League champs. He was SWBL Coach of the Year, Southwest District Coach of the Year, Miami Valley Football Coaches Association Coach of the Year, State of Ohio Division IV Coach of the Year. 2019, they went 10-3. I'm sorry, they made playoffs that year too. In 2019, Miami Valley Football Coaches Association Coach of the Year, Dayton Daily News Coach of the Year, went to the playoffs again. 2020, Miami Valley Coach of the Year, went to the playoffs. More importantly, Coach Skidmore has affected thousands over his 30-plus years of coaching football at Valley View. and turned out thousands of excellent young men, and we can't thank him enough. Can I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss the compensation of a public employee and to discuss the appointment of a public official? We'll invite Mr. Richards and Ms. Falber in with us. No action will be taken when we come out.
So another board member.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mrs. Geiser?
Yes.
Mr. DeGrove?
Yes.
Mrs. Valenti?
Yes. Mary, going to-